Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and we are back with some more Great League battles for you guys, and this is honestly one of my favorite Pokemon spotlights that I've done so far. This one is Raichu, and no, not Alolan Raichu, Kantonian Raichu. And not just Kantonian Raichu, but Detective Hat Raichu. This Pokemon, I really love running with it up in the front. While it is very glassy, its ability to spam out charge moves thanks to Volt Switch generating energy really quickly and Wild Charge hitting really hard can really set the table in a similar way to how we featured Porygon in an earlier video. Really set the stage early by grabbing a lot of shields so that the back line has easier matchups down the road. So without further ado, let's hop into it. So we're hopping into game number 1 against Sayaharu 8638. As I mentioned, we are leading Raichu into Bastiodon. And if you look, the Smackdowns are doing a ton of damage to Raichu, but Raichu is not out of the fight yet by any means. So Raichu is going to have to shield that Stone Edge, but they'll be able to get the back-to-back Wild Charges, which is going to be doing quite a bit of damage, and they actually switch into Galvantula. So interesting decision there. So we're going to go for the Wild Charge and land it to do a ton of damage and then farm it down with Marowak. Charge move coming through, that was a little fast, so it's probably just a lunge, so we can safely no-shield that and then fire spin down so we have some energy. And the Bastiodon comes back in. And this is a decent matchup for us since we have energy, because our fire spins are hitting for neutral, but those bone clubs are hitting for super effective damage. So those are chunking away at the Bastiodon, and they're trying to farm us down here, and we're able to get to that last second bone club, and this should actually be getting a shield. So our opponent does have a ton of energy, but they lost almost all of their health and one of their shields. The charge move coming through, and we brought in our Umbreon because Umbreon is very tanky. Like, look, that Stone Edge does almost nothing. We're able to get to a foul play pretty close to when they would get to another charge move, and we're able to take out the Bastiodon, which is huge. They come in with a Victory Bell. Not the Shadow version, but just the regular version. So we're going for a foul play of our own. We do get the shield. We hop back in with Raichu to go for the Wild Charge. And this will not kill it, but this will get it low, and it lowers our defense, so that way they get less of a farm on us. We come back in with Umbreon, then we'll be able to safely shield up the charge attack from the Victory Bell, even if it is an Acid Spray, and then one foul play is going to be taking it out, so we are able to take game number 1. Let's hop into game number 2 against Siglo1NF. Leading Raichu, of course, into a Skuntank. So here we encounter some fellow Spice. So bravo there. We do get to the charge move. Here we're actually baiting with Thunder Punch. And they call our baits. That was a really nice play by them. They switch into Torterra. Unfortunately, it doesn't let me switch right away. So I did take some Razor Leaf damage. And as you can see, that Razor Leaf damage was chunking away at Raichu. That was a little fast. That's just a Sand Tomb. We can safely no-shield that. Here we build up to a Shadow Ball, and we do bait just to try and get a shield. We do get the shield, which is huge. Now we're building up some extra, and here we're going for a Bone Club, even though it is going to be resisted, just to do some chip damage. We do get the chip damage, and we are just able to farm it down and keep switch advantage. So we switch advantage and shield advantage. So we are in a really good position here. Come in with the Raichu, going for the Thunder Punch in an attempt to either take out the Skuntank or get the last shield. We do get the last shield. They bring in a Blaziken, and we counter with our Umbreon. And the Blaziken's counter is going to be doing super effective damage, but Blaziken is very squishy, so we'll be able to hit it with Last Resorts, and those will be hitting it for neutral. Charge move coming through, we shield it up. It is just a Blaze Kick bait, so nice play by the opponent. They win CMP because Blaziken is a decently high attack stat Pokemon. We shield up, unfortunately, another Blaze Kick, but we'll be able to get to the Last Resort, and this will be taking out the Blaziken. They're going to come back in with the Skuntank. Charge move coming through, we can't shield it. It's a Sludge Bomb, which we are able to survive, which is great. We'll be able to get off the resisted foul play, and then we'll quick swap into our Raichu, and one Volt Switch does the trick. So we are able to take game 2. I really like the versatility of Raichu, being able to spam off those charge attacks very quickly to start the match, as well as the match goes on. It's really good at drawing shields so the other Pokemon can flourish. We pick up a Nightmare lead here. Ground types, Raichu does not like ground types. So we swap into our Umbreon to hopefully draw out any Azus, and it doesn't look like they have one because they're staying in with the Galarian Stunfisk, so that tells me they don't have a good answer for Umbreon. So we're going to stay in and go for some foul plays, which are hitting for neutral damage, in an attempt to get the Stunfisk as low as possible, because we do not want it anywhere near our Raichu. We are able to get it into the yellow, which is great, and we can safely no-shield this, because Umbreon's very tanky. We can take those rock slides, no problem. Building up to the foul play, and this should be getting it towards the red, so below 25% health, and it does. So here we do decide to let this go because the Stunfisk is very low, and unfortunately they are able to farm us down, but we're able to come in with Marowak and fire spin them down. They were very close to a charge move there, so we got lucky. They come in with a Sableye. I build up to close to a Shadow Ball, and then I do bait, hoping that they shield, and we get a shield, which is huge. I switch in Raichu, get a Volt Switch in, charge move coming through from the Sableye. We shield it up because Sableye hits pretty hard. They switch out into a Tropius. This is actually a pretty decent matchup for us because we will be hitting that Tropius for neutral with our electric attacks, and we could build up to the back-to-back wild charges. The first one should be getting the shield, which it does, and the second one will do a ton of damage. This won't be taking out the Tropius, but it will get it very low. It does get it very low, which is fantastic. Charge attack coming through. We're actually going to let this go. This is perfect because this will allow us to farm up some energy on Marowak, and then we'll be able to get to the Shadow Ball. We can outpace the Sableye, and at this range, Shadow Ball's hitting for neutral, and this is going to be enough to take out the Sableye, so we are able to take Game 3. We're hopping into Game 4 against Noob Ash X38, so a trainer who is a bit lacking in confidence there. We catch a Shiftry up front. This is not a good lead. Shiftry is going to be able to hit us for neutral, whereas all of our attacks are going to be resisted. This is going to be a Leaf Blade, and this shows how much Leaf Blade does. Ouch. We counter with a Wild Charge, but the Wild Charge is resisted, so that's not going to do a lot there, and we're going to switch out into our Umbreon, and we do draw out the Azumarill. And that is the reason why I run Umbreon and Alolan Marowak in the back. My goal is to save swap Umbreon to draw out their Azumarill so that I can kill the Azumarill with the Raichu, and therefore typically Azumarill is going to be the biggest threat to Alolan Marowak, and that lets Alolan Marowak sweep in back. Here we're going for last resort just to do quite a bit of chip damage, and unfortunately we do lose CMP there. We let this go, and that is going to be taking us out. We're going to come back in with the Raichu, trying to get to a charge move, and we do get to the Thunder Punch, which is huge, and we're hoping they don't shield, and they don't, which is fantastic. They come back in with Shiftry. We counter with Alolan Marowak. We'll need to shield up this foul play, but now we're in a really commanding position. Deoxys comes in. A Shadow Ball would do a ton of damage, but they have 2 shields, and we're shielding, so we're at a 2-0 shield deficit. We're going to need to bait twice. So I build up to a Shadow Ball. I bait once. They shield. Perfect. So we got one. Build up. We overload on energy. We go for another one. And he shields again, which is huge. We can survive this Rock Slide. Rock Slide does roughly 50% health. And can we get there? And we do get to the Shadow Ball. This is going to be enough to take out the defense Deoxys, and then we'll just have to try and fire spin down the Shiftry, and we are able to take it. So we ended up having to go down 2 shields, but Alolan Marowak, since we got the Azumarill out of the way, was able to sweep. So huge victory there, and we're hopping into game number 5 against the Whiscash. This is not a good lead either, because Whiscash does have those ground moves, which will be hitting us for super effective. So we swap into our Umbreon, and they counter with a Skarmory. This tells me 2 things. 1, they don't have a good Umbreon counter, and 2, they definitely do not have an Azumarill. Skarmory is not a great response to Umbreon, to be honest, because if you look at the damage that 2 foul plays did, it's already really low. And that Sky Attack is not going to do a lot. So here I'm thinking, we can either win Switch, or we can win our shield advantage. So we let that go through. We're overloading on energy. So this way he doesn't know how much energy we have. He shields up the foul play, and boom, we're able to get to a second one. So he has to choose to either burn both his shields or lose switch advantage. He chooses to burn both, and then he is able to farm down. So even though we don't have switch advantage, we are able to come in and take him out with 1 volt switch. Galvantula comes in, we swap into our Marowak. We no shield this, as this is just a lunge, and lunge doesn't do a whole lot. The Wishcash comes back, and here it's a good thing we saved those shields, because those mud bombs will be hitting for super effective. We're overloading on energy, going for the Shadow Ball. This is going to be hitting for neutral, and that does do a nice amount of damage there. And we're very close to a Shadow Ball. We just need to shield and hope we can get there. So we shield up, don't get to the Shadow Ball, and they get to a move. They pulled the trick on me that I pulled on them earlier, where they had overloaded with energy. I go in with Raichu. I'm going for a Wild Charge, hoping this will be enough damage. And it's resisted, but it does take it out. Galvantula comes in. It's a race. We win. We get to the Wild Charge. Please be enough. And it's enough. So Raichu comes in, saves the day. So we go 5-0 with Detective Hat Raichu. This little mouse is an absolute monster. If you run it, I definitely recommend running it up front. And I do like a team composition similar to this one, where in the back you have 2 Pokemon weak to Azumarill, and the goal is, if you have a neutral or lost lead, to switch out to bait out their Azumarill counter with Umbreon, and that will allow your Alolan Marowak to sweep in the back. So all in all, I think it did its job really well. In a future video, you'll see me try this team with Zebstrika, and Zebstrika performs markedly worse. Zebstrika sucks, but that's a story for another video. Anyways, that should about do it for me. In conclusion, I like Raichu. I think it has a place in this meta. It definitely requires a bit of finesse, but if you put it in the lead and if you surround it with some good teammates, it can serve you pretty well. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you're new to the channel and do want to support the channel, good news is there's a free way you can do it. Hitting that subscribe button helps out the channel so much. We're growing in subscribers really quickly. We're up over 125, and that's absolutely crazy to me. So thank you to everyone who has subscribed, and even if you haven't subscribed and you're just watching, thank you for watching. Thank you for taking time out of your day to hang out with me. So I definitely appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.